Agnes of Bohemia O.S.C., also known as Agnes of Prague, was a medieval Bohemian princess who opted for a life of charity, mortification of the flesh and piety over a life of luxury and comfort. Although she was venerated soon after her death, Agnes was not beatified or canonized for over 700 years. Life. Childhood. Agnes was the daughter of King Ottokar I of Bohemia, making her a descendant of St. Ludmila and St. Wenceslaus, patron saints of Bohemia. Agnes' mother was Constance of Hungary, who was the sister of King Andrew II of Hungary, so Agnes was a first cousin to St. Elizabeth of Hungary. When she was 3 years old, Agnes was entrusted to the care of another aunt, Street, Hedwig of Andechs, the wife of Duke Henry I the Bearded of Silesia. Hedwig placed her to be educated by a community of Cistercian nuns in a monastery which she herself had founded in Trzebnica. Upon her return to Prague, Agnes was entrusted to a priory of Premonstratensian canonesses to continue her education. Arranged marriages. At the age of 8, Agnes was betrothed to Henry, son of the Emperor Frederick II, Holy Roman Emperor. Henry was 10 years old and had just been crowned King of Germany. According to custom, Agnes should have spent her childhood at her future husband's court. Emperor Frederick, King of Sicily, had his court in Palermo, but his son Henry, King of Germany, lived in Germany at the palace of Archbishop Engelbert in Cologne. Agnes was sent to the court of Duke Leopold VI of Babenberg. Leopold, however, wanted the young Henry to marry his own daughter, Margaret. After being betrothed for 6 years, Henry Inaines's betrothal contract was cancelled. Like other noble women of her time, Agnes was a valuable political pawn. In 1226, Aines's father Ottokar went to war against the Babenbergs as a result of the cancelled betrothal. Ottokar then planned for Agnes to marry Henry III of England, but this was vetoed by the emperor, who wanted to marry Agnes himself. Foundress Agnes refused to play any more part in a politically arranged marriage. She decided to devote her life to prayer and spiritual works, for which she sought the help of Pope Gregory IX. On land donated by her brother, Wenceslaus I, King of Bohemia, she founded the Hospital of St. Francis and 2 friaries for the Franciscan friars, who had just come to Bohemia at her brother's invitation. Through them Agnes learned of Clare of Assisi and her Order of Poor Ladies, the monastic counterpart of the friar. She began a correspondence with Clare, which led to Clare's sending 5 nuns from the monastery in Assisi to Prague to begin a new house of the order. This was the first Poor Clare community north of the Alps. Agnes built a monastery and friary complex attached to the hospital. It housed the Franciscan friars and the Poor Clare nuns who worked at the hospital. This religious complex was one of the first Gothic buildings in Prague. In 1235, Agnes gave the property of the Teutonic Knights in Bohemia to the hospital. She herself became a member of the Franciscan Poor Clares in 1236. As a nun, she cooked for and took care of the lepers and paupers personally, even after becoming abbess of the Prague Clares the following year. As can be seen in their correspondence, Clare wrote with deep maternal feelings toward Agnes, though they never met. A lay group working at the hospital was organized by Agnes in 1238 as a new military order, dedicated primarily to nursing, known as the Knights of the Cross with the Red Star, following the rule of St. Augustine. The next year, Agnes handed over all authority over the hospital she had founded to these monastic knights. They were recognized as an order by Pope Gregory IX in 1252. Agnes lived out her life in the cloister, leading the monastery as abbess, until her death on the 2nd of March 1282. Legacy. The Monastery of the Holy Saviour, renamed the Monastery of St. Agnes, began to fall into decline after the Hussite Wars of the 15th century. The community was abolished in 1782. Restored in the 1960s, the monastery is now a branch of the National Gallery in Prague, featuring the medieval Central European and Bohemian collection. Veneration. In 1874, Pope Pius IX had Agnes beatified. Pope John Paul II canonized Blessed Agnes the 12th of November 1989. While she was known by her contemporaries because of her supposed visions and healing, such as her prophecy that King Wenceslaus would be victorious in his battle against the Austrians, her canonization was based on her practice of the Christian virtues of faith, hope and charity to an extraordinary degree, and the Church's view is confirmed either through a miracle granted by God in answer to the saint's prayers or, as in this case, by the continuing devotion of the Christian faithful to a saint's example across centuries. Though Agnes died in 1282, she was still venerated by Christians around the world more than 700 years later. She was honored in 2011, the 800th anniversary of her birth, as the saint of the overthrow of communism, with a year dedicated to her by Catholics in the Czech Republic. Cultural reference. Agnes is a featured figure on Judy Chicago's installation piece The Dinner Party, being represented as one of the 999 names on the heritage floor. Ancestry.